pass there on Larry Pearson. And Dick Trickle moves up to 7th place.
Just took him a while to get woke up, that's all.
Well, he was as far back as 31st in the early going.
He was. He had a long night, or a short night, coming from Charlotte, and got accustomed to the car, and here he goes.
Drives past it's not the Renorex, it's the Renorex sponsored car. I'll get it. Number 11 of Joey McCarthy. Boy, he is closing fast.
Yes. Todd's not going to give him a hard time either. He feels too bad.
There's the Bobby Jones owned car. Jeff McClure on board, the number 50. That's a couple of laps down. 4 laps down. Trickle flashes past.
Yeah. First time here for Jeff. He's struggling, and I told him, just act like you're running from the cops. That's the way you run that's the way you run a road course the first time you go to it. That's what we used to tell Rusty, and he'll get better.
I think you're right. Barry Dodson won a couple of Winston Cup championships with Richard Petty and helped guide Rusty Wallace to his championship season as well. And this year versus Mike Bliss on the Craftsman Truck Series, where they are that circuit's most recent winners. Later today, Ed Kennedy will be on the pole for the modified race here. Jan Leedy, the Spring Sizzler winner outside. Reggie Ruggiero, Mike Iwanitzko, champion Tony Hirschman, and Steve Hart are the front six. Mike Stefanik is the only driver here doing double duty in both races, as Doug Hevron in the Food Country Ford slows in the back straightaway. Mike Olson moves around.
Yeah, he had been 15th, I believe.
Now, Trickle had a busy day being at the Winston Select, being here. Reggie Ruggiero had a busy night as well. He qualified as modified here, went up to Riverside Park to drive for Bill Pelly. Didn't make the feature, 100-lap feature. Tom Rosati started the car, lap 74, caution flag. Rosati comes in. They put 4 tires and Reggie in the car. He comes from the back and in 24 laps wins the feature.
Yeah, and if you know Reggie, that's not hard to believe.
No, it's not.
Great driver.
Quite a drive. David Green is caught back up to Randy LaJoie. He's not going to let him get away here with 36 laps to go. And they have the whole front straightaway separating them from Jeff Green, Jason Keller, Kevin LePage, Todd Bodine, and Dick Trickle has caught that second group. There are your leaders working some traffic. And let's pick up this second pack, because this battle is going to get good here in a second. There's
Jeff Green. Race.
And you see Trickle has now caught Todd Bodine. Leaders out of turn 1.
I think David's going to be able to make a move, whether he can get back by him or not, but I think he can get to him.
We'll find out. 34 laps to go. Randy LaJoie, David Green, Jeff Green, Jason Keller, and Kevin LePage, the front 5. We're at Nazareth. We'll be right back. Caution is out. The Joe Bessie car, Toshio Suzuki from Saitama, Japan. 41-year-old driver making his Busch debut has brought out the caution and lost the left front of the car.
He now has a 3-wheeler.
A 3-wheel Suzuki. Yes. Don't get me started. He's okay. He's about to climb out. Knocked the whole left front corner off it.
Brake hose is hanging out.
Yep. And you can say he is okay, but Joe Bessie's Chevrolet is not.
No, it didn't.
So that'll be caution number 9. And we have 28 laps to go. So it's going to get a little more interesting here. We'll see if Randy LaJoie has enough to hold off David Green when we come back. Nazareth, 26 laps to go as they hook up Suzuki's number 9 to the wrecker. And we'll get set for the restart. A number of lead lap cars made pit stops. We'll update that in a moment. Here's what happened.
Oh, what a feeling.
Oh, jeez. Hard hit with the left front of that car. Today's AutoZone Tech Fact is brought to you by the more than 1,300 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Barry?
4 or 5 years ago, it was give me 3 rounds of wedge, 4 rounds of wedge. It doesn't work anymore. The reason? A radial tire. It's got a belt. Here's a perfect example. Here's your radial right here on the racetrack. Here's your old bi-ply tire. Here at Nazareth, a right front spring that's very common in a car, or maybe even a truck, is like a 900-pound spring rate. Put 2 more pounds of air in that right front tire, all of a sudden with a radial, because it won't compress because of the inertia of the belt that acts like a spring, you got a 950. That's the way you make a chassis adjustment with a radial tire.
A lot of those adjustments made today to compensate for cool, overcast weather for practice and qualifying and a hot, sunny day for the race. They have pushed the dial Pure X4 to Patty Moise behind the wall and back to the garage area. Let's check in Dick Trickle's pit. Here's Steve.
With Brian Schaefer, who is Dick Trickle's crew chief. Brian, you guys have really got this car hooked up. You've got 25 laps to go. Can you get to the front?
I think we're pretty good right now. I don't know if we can get all the way to the front. We've come from the back, and we wore our tires out pretty good. But we're going to give her a shot.
What is Dick saying? Does he like the way the car feels right now?
Dick said we're just a little bit loose now, and we started out we were way too tight, so we went a little bit too far in the adjustments. But Door Loop Chevrolet has been running good.
Tom Peck qualified and practiced that car yesterday as Chad Little makes a pit stop. Now, under this caution, lead lap cars, Jeff Purvis, Tommy Houston, Phil Parsons, Curtis Markham, and Doug Hebron have made pit stops. Now Chad Little gives up 10th place to come in. He will drop to 16th. The last car on the lead lap, according to our unofficial count. Kelly Moore and Hermie Sadler are also in.
Looks like 4 tires, not a bad move. He can give up the track position because he was fading back anyway.
Unbelievable the difference from last season when Chad ran the Ford to this season. He has not, I don't believe, had a top 10 finish this year. And so now we'll come out 16th, hoping in these last 23, 22 laps of green flag racing to be able to post that first top 10. 1 to go next time by. The Busch Series heads for Charlotte next week, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Check in Wednesday, race Saturday.
Yep, we're back in the desert.
Yes, out of Tucson. That's a great racetrack, Barry. You're going to love Tucson Raceway Park. I'll give you my restaurant list. Buddy and I put together quite a list from Winter Heat there a couple of years ago.
I know Buddy had a good one, and I'm looking forward to going. It's going to be hot, and this is the first hot weather we've had up here.
Getting set for the restart. Randy LaJoie looking for his first ever Busch Grand National win. David Green right behind him as we move up in line with Randy Porter. Get set for this restart. It's LaJoie, Green and Green, David and Jeff. Jason Keller in 4th, Dick Trickle as far back as 31st. He is now up to 5th. Kevin LePage in 6th. 7th will be Todd Bodine. 8th, Larry Pearson. 9th, last year's winner, Tim Fedewa. And 10th, Glenn Allen, the leading rookie. 11th, Tommy Houston. These are all cars that pitted. Jeff Purvis, Bill Parsons. As we get set for the restart.
Good restart.
Green is locked right underneath Randy LaJoie as they go to turn 1. You're riding with Trickle as he sweeps up high. Can't take advantage of Jason Keller, and they move under Rodney Combs, who has been the first car 1 lap down for quite some time. He is 17th. There's Trickle moving past as you ride with Rodney Combs. Turn 4. Front 7 cars, single file, lead lap.
It's going to get good.
22 to go. And this time, Jeff Green is right with them. There is no breakaway by those first 2 cars.
Yeah, Randy's been pushing up a little bit off turn 4. He needs to keep that car down. That's where David's gaining on him.
Off 5 and down the front straightaway. LaJoie looking for his first career win. Green looking for his 5th. And don't forget Jeff Green right there has never won on this circuit. This caution flag has put him in contention.
That was a better job that time through turn 5 for Randy.
All right, so that's what you tell Randy LaJoie. Now, if you were on David Green's radio as crew chief,
I would say work him. I'd say work him, get out of his mirror so he doesn't know where you are. If I've got Randy, I say, Randy, use the brakes to slow the car down. Don't drive in too hard and protect the body.
turn 4 right on the bottom and up here into 5. Big, long, high sweep of a corner.
He's got his rhythm back now.
Yep. Tim Speedway just got past Larry Pearson at turn 1. That'll change 8th place on the board. David Green, first victory at Dublin, Virginia, 1991. 1994 at Bristol. Last year at Nashville, this year at Hickory. Looking for win 5. There's Trickle just ahead of Jason Keller now. And Kevin LePage. Trickle up to 4th place. That's the drive of the day in my book.
He is a great driver. He filled in at Team 3 for us for about 10 races, and it's amazing what he can do with a race car. He has so much savvy and experience.
LaJoie is pulling away and may leave the Green brothers to fight for second spot. Turn 1, 4 cars are in it. Make that 7.
And the track's blocked too right now.
And a couple of them may drive away. Mike Olson,
McClure.
McCarthy. Is that Hermie Sadler again?
No, it's there's McClure driving away.
Tom Bowles is in it. Kelly Moore, the Busch North champion, and Randy Porter are the cars involved. And Randy LaJoie will lead them down the grass and onto the warm-up lane to get past. The whole front end is torn from Tom Bowles' car. He's sitting in, moving around. Randy LaJoie has also dropped the window net. That's the indication of the safety crews that the driver is okay. And the rescue workers over talking with Kelly Moore. And again, Moore took a hard hit from the outside. Let's look at the replay and show you what happened. Somebody gets into the back of Sadler and the 50 car, and there's Porter. Now those 3 cars, one spins to the bottom, a 4th car in. Here comes the second group. Tom Bowles, the white car, spins to the side and in, and Kelly Moore comes in from the outside. Now let me explain to you why the second part of this wreck happened after we see this angle from coming out of turn 1. There's the 50 car getting turned around. Jeff McClure, Sadler. Now you see this second impact where Bowles comes in and spins his white car, comes in there, and Kelly Moore is in as well. I don't believe we have a camera angle to show you this, but the position of those cars is just past the end of pit road as you look at it from the top of the grandstand where the spotters sit. There's a second group of spotters past the bridge, but that area entering turn 1 is kind of blind even to the spotters at both locations. So it's a very difficult spot for the spotters to call to the cars that are coming into that area. There you can see spotters up at the top of that grandstand. And let's show you from Randy Porter's view what he drove into. Two cars were side by side. The 50 car got down, got a little loose, and lifted off the throttle. Sadler was on the throttle, got into him. Porter got into him. Just a chain reaction collision. There's Tom Bowles climbing out, the Ellington, Connecticut driver who got his first Busch North win last year at Stafford Springs, Connecticut. He is okay. Was a little woozy climbing out, but he's got a cold towel around his neck. He's all right. Mike McLaughlin, also involved in that incident, has gone behind the wall. One of those freight train chain reaction collisions brings out the caution.
Today's exclusive coverage of the Core States Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN is brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. At Napa, we keep America running. And by Rain Soft Water Treatment Equipment. Quality water for you and your family that's dependable by nature.
Cleanup continues as commercial transportation for our telecast is provided by Ryder, the official transportation company of Opryland. There are the spotters at the top of Section D in the Turn 5 grandstand, the brand new high-rise grandstand that'll be extended along more of Nazareth Speedway. And you'll see what blocked their view from the accident site is the scoring pylon. It's a direct line of sight from the spotter's perch through that pylon. You cannot see this part of the exit of Turn 1. And likewise, the bridge at Turn 2 blocks the view of the spotters down in that grandstand from this area. There's the bridge. They can't see through that, so it's kind of a blind spot from both angles. That's kind of why there was the secondary collision. The spotters could not warn the drivers in time what was there. The 50 car checked up. Sadler got into him. Porter got into him. There's Mike Dillon, 72. Olson spinning to the inside. McLaughlin checks up here, but Tom Bowles piles into McLaughlin, and so does Kelly Moore. Talked all day, Barry, about how narrow that racetrack gets when even just one car gets sideways.
Yeah, and it looks like a corner there, but what happens at this racetrack, after you cross the the start-finish line, you get back on the gas. So Bowles and those guys coming in were like full speed.
Listen to Randy Porter's car. You'll see here, he's on the throttle when this happens. Felt that up here. You're just getting back into the throttle. You could hear Hermie's car ahead on the throttle. Randy just starting to get back into it. But the 50 car had gotten a little loose and out of the gas. And when you're that close, that's what happens. A little bit of sweeping going down in Turn 1. We are going to get this race back under green. There are 10 laps to go. Now, Barry, they went down to the warm-up lane from the racetrack to get around the incident.
Right. If I'm Birdie right now, we're telling Randy, okay, you're on the warm-up lane. They've drug in a bunch of cars today from this crash fest. There's nuts, bolts, washers out there, a lot of radial tire rubber. As you leave the pits, you got to really, really look for it, stay out of that stuff. And when you get back on the racetrack, you've got to really work hard on cleaning your tires up to get a good restart.
That's just what he's been doing, is scrubbing those tires back and forth to clean them of rubber and debris. Let's go to the second place cars pit. Here's Steve.
Mike, with Kirk Shelmerdine, who's a team consultant. Kirk ran fourth at Charlotte last night. An ARCA race got here at 11 o'clock this morning. Crew Chief Butch Enders and team owner Buzz McCall are both spotting. So, Kirk, the pressure, I guess, is on you to answer the question, can you get around the 74 of Randy LaJoie?
Well, they're pretty strong today. I think we kind of got the second best car, but David's trying everything he can to try to take advantage of a traffic situation or something like that. He's pretty good at that kind of thing. We'll just sort of have to stand here and watch and see how it goes.
Has David said that whether or not he thinks he can get by him?
No, he doesn't know. You know, if you get an opening, you go for it. If you don't get one, you wait till next week. But he's doing the best he can. And from watching the whole race today, it appears we're just a little bit off of them speed-wise or gear-wise or
nothing, but
He's doing best he can.
thanks, Kurt.
A little damage to the nose of LaJoie's car you saw there as we get set for the restart. We're under 10 laps to go. This will be a single file restart. See if we can get one to go out of Carl Simmons on the flag stand this time. He's looking up at the tower like, how about it? See if cleanup is complete. And we're going to go another lap or so.
And it's not just the two cars up front. I mean, we got a heck of a race going on all the way back to Todd Bodine.
And Dick Trickle is up to 4th. From as far back as 31st, Trickle's best Busch Series finish, second at Charlotte in 1990 and 1991 if you ride in the Duraloop Chevy. The other drive of the day, I talked to Todd Bodine this morning, and he has got a bad sinus condition and congestion, and the fact that he's been able to hang on to that car and keep it up in the top 7 spots speaks volumes for this young fella's dedication. Turn 1, Hermie Sadler. A lot of smoke from the back of that car. I believe whatever they used to hold the rear end in place has broken yet again.
It's a broken Panhard bar again. That's 2 in one day, and they're getting him off right now. And Hermie's just trying to make laps and get some points, and he did the right thing right there. He was starting to spread some rubber down.
He's in the garage. See how far the left thing looks like a modified. The rear end so offset to the left, or the body to the right, or take your pick. But these cars rely on that Panhard rod to locate the rear left to right. He broke it once, as you saw underneath the car, and now again. 1 to go. We will finish this under green, or at least we'll restart to finish this under green.
Yeah, here we
see
go.
what happens.
This is going to be great.
There are now 7 laps to go. Randy LaJoie driving for Bill Bumgarner and the team that won the championship with Johnny Benson last year. Base Motorsports, FINA the sponsor. Buzz McCall's American Equipment Racing. David Green at the wheel. And right after this telecast, we'll be going to Ontario for the Sunoco Ultra 94 Trans Am race. Buzz McCall owns the Sunoco Camaro in that race that you'll see next year on TNN Motorsports. Ron Fellows the driver. So we'll have 6 laps to settle this out.
Okay, you see them clean their tires off.
And you got a few veteran short trackers at the front. There's no short tracker more veteran than Dick Trickle for your average Saturday night shootout. It'll go 6 laps. Everybody's on their feet. Can Randy LaJoie hold off David Green? We're about to find out. Pace car is in. Green flag. Single file restart. Tommy Houston, I think, caught Larry Pearson there, missing a gear or napping and grabbed a spot. We're with Dick Trickle, 4th place. Whoa! Sideways was David Green, and everybody had to check up. Green must not have gotten his tires cleaned off. LaJoie down the block. Green on the bottom. Can't make the pass.
Turn 5 right here for Randy's going to decide it. Get it down, get it down, get it down.
Way up high is LaJoie. Here comes David Green, and LaJoie slams the door in his face. 5 laps to go.
4 or 5 laps up here in turn 5 to get his rhythm back, to get the car low. He's got to continue to do that to beat David.
David Green trying to get up and under Randy LaJoie and loosen him up. Back straight away. 4 circuits left. Jeff Green in 3rd, Trickle in 4th. David Green puts the pressure on. And this time LaJoie holds a tight line off turn 5.
Getting better. Tires paying off for Tommy Houston.
Yes, Tommy Houston has climbed up into the top 10, and so has Chad Little. That stop, 1 caution to go for tires, has paid off. Chad Little hoping to post his first top 10 of the year.
Okay, Randy. Get her motor down.
He's up high again at turn 5. Here comes David.
He can't hear me.
If only you could talk to him. Tommy Houston putting the high Bodine now. That'll be for 7th spot. 3 laps to go. Boy, Green had the car hung out that time coming off turn 3. Off turn 5 once again. David Green right in his tire tracks this time. 2 laps to go. third place battle. Trickle all over Jeff Green. And Jason Keller's right there. And so is Kevin LePage. And Tommy Houston is going to run out of time, but he is closing fast. Backstretch. Through 4 and off turn 5. Randy LaJoie faces the white flag. Last lap, and he has 2 car lengths now on David Green.
He's got a lot of motor, too. You can see it up the backstretch.
Houston has passed Kevin LePage. Pull Tommy Houston up into 6th place. What a drive. This is it, folks. David Green, the point leader, thinking championship, pulls up to within a car length of Randy LaJoie. If LaJoie can just hold it down off turn number 5, he'll win his first Busch Grand National race. David Green in 2nd, retains the point lead. Jeff Green in 3rd, Dick Trickle in 4th, Jason Keller 5th, and up to 6th, Tommy Houston.
Boy, that's a happy bunch down there.
I love a first-time winner. I don't much care who it is, but when somebody gets the first one, that is pretty good. Randy LaJoie with Steve Bird. His dad, Don LaJoie, is in that pit, a many-time modified champion. Birdie with his arm in the air, and so too our winning driver, Randy LaJoie. Jeff Green pulls up to congratulate, and we'll be right back.
Exclusive coverage of the Core States Meridian Advantage 200 on TNN has been brought to you by Texaco Clean System 3 gasoline. Add more life to your car. Take it to the stars. And by Stanley. Since 1843, Stanley has been helping people do things right.
Well, after a fling at Winston Cup Racing and several years in the Busch Grand National Circuit, the pride of Norwalk, Connecticut, Randy LaJoie has made it to victory lane. Quick look at the rundown. LaJoie, the winner. David Green, the point leader. 2nd, Jeff Green. 3rd, Dick Trickle. 4th, Jason Keller. 5th. 6th, the Tommy Houston. 7th, Kevin LePage. 8th, Tim Fedowa, last year's winner. 9th was Chad Little, and Todd Bodine hung in there for 10th. Quick look at the finish. Chad Little and Todd Bodine transposed there to make them 9th and 10th. Glenn Allen, another good run for the rookie. Phil Parsons, Purvis, Mike Stefanik, the first Busch North finisher. And look on down through the list. These last few cars ended up on the hook at the end of the day. Steve Burns in victory lane.
Randy LaJoie, man, I know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this victory. How does it feel?
I know what took me so long. I can't say enough for this Base Motorsports, FINA, all our associate sponsors, Goodyear, K-Tech Engines. Finally, put me in a victory lane. I've been close a lot of times, and just never seemed to get there. You know, today we beat David Green. He's probably the best Busch driver around right now. This team was the best last year. We're gonna get back to that form, and the only way to win the points is to beat that 95 car. And we did it today. We were really good on long runs. I really didn't want to see those caution flags, but you know, Steve Bird and the guys here in Base Motorsports, again, they just gave me a great race car. And you know, my dad, my family, I did something that my dad always told me to do. Late in the race, you flip the mirror up and don't even worry about the guys behind you. And I did that, and it sure did work. You know, but once again, you know, the tires were really good. The Goodyear tires were great. I got in the back of the lap car there for a little while, but other than that, I had a great day. It's been a great day for me, and thank God it's a good safety.
Of TNN Motorsports.